I decided to make the most scary horror game I've ever made, in just 3 days. Which, to be fair, wasn't that hard to beat since it's only my second game. And the first one? Definitely not the kind of game that gets your heart racing. But then I thought, what's scarier than regular Santa? Well, there are two things that almost everyone freaks out about: clowns and dark forests. I mean, why do horror games always have you wandering through a creepy forest? It is like, oh, here we go again. But honestly, it makes sense. Our brains still remember when forests were actually dangerous. No GPS, no streetlights, just trees, shadows, and the constant risk of getting lost. Or even worse. And in my game, yeah, no GPS. We are going full primal here. And then there are clowns. You see a clown and your brain immediately screams, nope, don't trust that. Alright, we've got two big scary points, but now what? You can't just stand there like an idiot. I decided to make it a parkour game. You've gotta keep moving, jumping over stuff, sprinting like your life depends on it. But here's the catch. The second you look away, the clown starts chasing you down like you owe it money. Look away, don't move, and the game is over. First thing I had to figure out, how to even make parkour mechanics. Fortunately, I didn't need anything fancy, just basic sprinting, jumping, crouching and slides. Slides are always fun. The movement didn't feel great at first, but hey, that's something I can tweak later. Thanks to a great tutorial, I knocked it out pretty quickly. Alright, parkour is done. Next up, the forest. This is where things got complicated. I found this amazing asset pack called Book of the Dead, but here's the problem. It is built for high-definition render pipeline, which my computer does not enjoy when there are thousands of wind-reacting trees. Thankfully, I found some universal render pipelines compatible trees and rebuilt the scene. The moon wasn't as impressive as in the HDRP version, so I had to add more atmosphere, something to make it dense and creepy. Now, I'm decent with low-poly 3D models, but sculpting a clown? No. I decided to use AI to generate our main character. The initial prompt gave me 4 options, so let's meet our candidates: Billy, Randy, Dave, and Bob. Billy's body was perfect, but his face looked like it was used before. Randy was kind of cool, but his hands were too long and his nose was on top of his head. Dave, honestly, I just didn't vibe with him. And then there was Bob. Receding hairline, twisted hands, no weird dents on his face. Bob was perfect. I upscaled him, animated him with Adobe Mixamo, and voila! Our clown was born. With the basics in place, I had 2 options: polish the visuals or work on the gameplay. Yeah, you are right. We saved a lot of time by hiring Bob, so now I could focus on making the game more atmospheric. Rain, fog, post-processing effects and even a massive circus tent looming in the background, just to really sell the creep factor. But sculpting the terrain was a pain. I couldn't see anything in the dark, and then it hit me when I was increasing the light intensity. What if I added thunderstorms? That will be cool, but no. We need to focus on gameplay. So I built the spawn area, which was pretty fun. Unity's terrain sculpting tools and height-based textures made it easy to create something that looked pretty decent. For the clown, I used Unity Navmesh to handle the AI. The tricky part? Bob wouldn't stop sliding when I stared at him, which was not ideal. Fixing that was easy though. I just locked him in place when the player looks at him. To make the forest feel alive, I added a giant circus sign, borrowed some Christmas decoration from my Santa game, and threw together half of the level. And when I say design, I mean I randomly placed stuff until it kind of looked like a parkour game. Now, no horror game is complete without a jumpscare. Bob wasn't exactly a jumpscare material on his own, so I used post-processing effects to create a sudden, disorienting scare. It actually turned out pretty well. To balance the gameplay, I added a stamina bar so players couldn't just sprint forever. Then I threw in a proximity warning, changing the field of view and cranking up some creepy violin music as Bob gets closer. This added so much more to the feel of the game and really changed the gameplay a lot. Oh, and remember the jumping mechanic I mentioned before? Yeah, it wasn't fun. I decided to tweak it by adding a little extra force to the player while they are in the air, just to make the parkour feel more satisfying. For audio, I added some background music and sound effects, which brought the whole game to life. With the time I had left, I even managed to squeeze in 3 more short parkour sections to the game. Now the spawn area. I loved it so much that I reused it as the main menu. I added some smooth camera movement to show off the circus sign and boom, first ever title screen done. For the intro, I borrowed the script from my Santa game and swapped the Santa letter for a circus ticket. Clever, right? And the ending? Well, I don't want to spoil too much, but basically after some intense parkour sequences, the player reaches the final area and has to make a choice. But don't expect anything on the level of heavy rain, even if it's raining. If you want to check out the game for yourself, feel free to visit the itch.io page in the description. All in all, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and Bob hopes so too. If you did, feel free to smash the like button and let me know if you would like more content like this.